So if you want to know how Wheezy makes crazy samples in the style of Gunna and Young Thug, this is the perfect video for you. What's up and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how Wheezy makes crazy samples and beats in the style of Gunna and Young Thug. So first of all, since y'all have already heard the beat and the sample, I will break down the sample and break down every single pattern I made and how I combined these sounds. And the sample has 3 different parts, so y'all make sure to stay till the end. Then while showing y'all these patterns, I will show y'all the effect chains I used, and they're really important for this type of sample because it gives the whole sample such a different vibe and such a different tone. So as I said, they're really important. Then after that, I will show y'all how I mastered the sample, which is very important as well because the mastering chain gives it more of a vintage feeling, which is perfect for these type of samples. Then after the mastering chain, I will show you how I made the beat, so break down the whole beat I made. It's a really simple beat with a few drum sounds, but it's still so hard. And after that, I will show you all the finished beat. And if you haven't already, please make sure to check out ukulele. The link for that is in the description. It's my own kids store. Y'all can get my kids there for 15% off with the code ukulele15. So it's discount for the whole store. And my arcane kit just dropped, which has 440 sounds to make your samples way better and to make sample making way easier. It has a drum kit and 100 height midis as well, so the beat making gets easier as well. I would really appreciate if y'all check that out and use the code ukulele15. And please don't forget to like, subscribe and to comment on this video. I would really appreciate that, and it would really help me a lot. And with that being said, yeah guys, let's go. So for the first thing, I used the Ample Guitar L, which is the Ample Guitar Luther, and I used the It Rained All Night preset, and I just left it how it was. I didn't change anything, and this is the pattern I laid down. It might look complex, but first of all, I had this right here, which is a pretty simple guitar melody. I just basically laid down a chord with the guitar, and I had this E, which is not in the scale, but as you can see, I turned the volume down by a lot, and then the E goes up to an F, so it's basically a strummed note. And then I did the same thing for the C and C sharp because it just gives it a realistic tone. And then I just laid down some very simple notes in a very basic rhythm right here. And first of all, the guitar sounded like this. And then I added these filler notes right here, which sound really nice, and it gives the guitar a whole different rhythm. So it's basically just an F to an F sharp and then a D sharp, and it sounds like this. And then after that, I laid down the top line. So I basically completed this A sharp minor chord with the F6 right here, but just an octave higher. And then I laid down the same chord again, but without the F, because the F gets strummed right here, as you can see, with the C and the C sharp. Then I have the C and C sharp again, which basically transfers to a C. And then down there, there's the C sharp, which creates tension and sounds really nice. I know it looks very complex, but if y'all just go from the basics, lay down a basic chord progression, then get a rhythm going, and then slowly build a top line, it won't be that hard. So what I did for the second part was basically just going down by 4 to change the whole chord or the whole tone, and then go down by 1 again. So basically go down 5 from A sharp and then go up 1 and down 1 again, just for a little bit more rhythm. And as you can see, I have these triplet notes right here, which go from F to F sharp and then to F again for the 5th bar. And that's really all I did. I randomized the velocities, which you can do with Alt and R. As you can see right here, you can turn the bipolar on, but I haven't had it on for this example. And the finished guitar pattern is sounding like this. And for the effects on this guitar, I have this RC20 right here just for the wobble and the EQ. Then this simple fresh air where the mid-air to 19% and the high to 15%. Then this Valhalla vintage verb where I tweaked the mix to 36%, the decay to 2.67, the pre-delay and the low cut as well. Then this simple soothe on its complete default settings. And this EQ where I cut out some of the lows, ducked some of the low mids and some of the highs just to make the guitar sound a little bit more vintage. Then for the next thing, I have this guitar lead from Splice, and all I did was pitching it up by 8, then pitching it down by 12, so I basically could have pitched it down by 4, but I just did it this way, I don't know why. And I put the declicking mode to generic, normalized it, put the mode to stretch, and as you can see, I chopped it up right here because originally it would have looked like this, and this part right here didn't fit the whole vibe, so I just chopped it up. And I chopped it up right here heavily because I just liked how it sounded. And that's all I did for this guitar lead, which sounds like this. Then for the effects on this guitar, I have this portal with the machine preset out of the Synth Diaries portal bank, I think. It's a really good preset for guitars. And I had this simple EQ where I just cut out some of the lows and ducked some of the lows because they were like a little bit too much, and I panned it 19% to the right. Then for the next thing, I use this ukulele from Contact, and I turned on this option right here, and I laid down this pretty simple pattern, which basically it goes up from A sharp to C sharp, and this the whole time, just to create like some texture for the background. And I didn't randomize the velocities, I didn't do anything to it, and this ukulele pattern sounds like this. And for the effects on this ukulele, I have this RC20 for the wobble and EQ, then this simple fresh air with the mid air to 11% and the higher to 23%, this Valhalla vintage drop where I tweaked the mix, the decay and the low cut, this simple soothe completely on its default settings, then this simple EQ where I just cut out some of the lows, and I added 27% in stereo and I panned it 19% to the left. Then for the next thing, I have a trumpet phrase from Splice, and I pitched it down by 2 just to bring it into the key. I lowered the volume, time stretched it, like brought it into time, I normalized it, and that's really all I did. As you can see, I didn't chop it up at all, and the finished trumpet phrase is something like this. And for the effects on this trumpet phrase, I just have this simple EQ where I cut out some of the frequencies that were like too harsh or not necessary for the sample. Then this simple soothe on its hard setting and the depth to 5.9. And this EQ, which looks pretty complex, but I basically just cut out some more frequencies that I didn't really like. And I had 25% in stereo. Then for the next thing, I have this percloop right here, which I pitched up by 5 and just time stretch it and put the declicker mode to generic. And I put a half time on it because it wasn't double time. So I basically just like half timed it to bring it in like normal time. And I had this EQ on there where I basically just ducked the lows and ducked the highs. Then this EQ where I cut them out completely. This simple soothe on its hard setting and the depth to 4.9. And this fully reverb on its default settings, I just turned the mix to 35%. And that's all I did for this perk loop, and it sounds like this. Then for the bassline, I obviously used this X bass from Experimenta, which is my favorite bass for guitar samples or like for melodic samples. And I just laid down this simple bassline on the root notes from the guitar. As you can see, it switches up right here and right there and right there. And that's all I did for the bassline. I didn't even randomize the velocities, and the finished bass is sounding like this. Then for the effects on this bass, I have this simple soothe on its hard setting and the depth to 6.6. This decapitator with the drive to like 2.5, the tone a little bit more to dark and the style to E. Then this simple EQ where I just cut out some of the muddy lows, ducked like the low lows and cut out some of the highs. And I had it 100% in mono. And then for my mastering chain, I have this Abbey Road vinyl stereo on there. With this preset, I just turned down the noise and the crackle. Then this simple EQ where I had on the noise but with the follow option so it stops when nothing's playing. Then this wobble, the distortion, the magnetic and the EQ. The L1 limiter stereo just to make the sample louder. This sound shifter pitch stereo from Waves where I pitched the sample up by 2. This hyper chorus on its default preset, I just had the mix to 8% wet. Then this simple EQ where I just ducked some of the lows. And then this simple soothe just to clean the sample up a little bit. And I had it on its default settings. I just turned down these knobs right here, and that's the whole mastering chain. And now first of all, I will show you the sample without the mastering chain, and then after that with it. So this is the sample without the mastering chain. And now this is the sample with the mastering chain. And now for the beat breakdown, the first thing I did was obviously dragging in the sample, and I have the declicking mode to generic, the mode to stretch, and I lowered the volume by a bit, and I put the trim up to 100% as well. And the first thing I did for the beat was obviously laying down like a simple hide pattern, which looks like this, and it's out of the Arcane kit. It's just one of these hide midis, one of these 100 hide midis, and I went in there, went to the best of drum kit, and then picked the beautiful hide. And yeah, as I said, I just dragged in the simple hide midi, which sounds like this. Then after that, the simple pyrex clap out of the kit with the basic clap pattern. This simple Rex added open head out of the kit as well, as you can see right here. And I basically just layered some of the 808 notes with the open head, and the open head pattern with the claps and the hi-hats is sounding like this. And now for the most important part, as you can see right here, I have this spins 808, and I just laid down the pattern on the root notes from the guitar pattern, or like from the bass line. So basically it is on the root notes, and it goes from C up to G sharp, and then goes down to G, and then to G sharp, to G again. And that's basically all I did. I lowered the volume of these notes because they were a bit too loud, and the finished beat with the 808s and everything else is sounding like this. So yeah guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel. It would really help me. And please don't forget to comment something, like some future video ideas. I would really appreciate a comment, and I would really appreciate if y'all check out Lucaland. The link for that is in the description. And if y'all want to get something on there, make sure to use code Lucaland15 for 15% off. It would really help me, and it would really mean a lot. So if you want to step up your sample and beat making game, make sure to check out the Arcane kit. It's the newest kit out now. I would really appreciate any type of support on that. And if you bought it and came from this video, make sure to DM me on Instagram with the receipt, and I will send y'all 15 samples as well. So with that being said, make sure to check out Lucaland. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to comment. And thank y'all for this crazy support on the kit and on the videos. And yeah guys, see y'all.